The underground utility community is growing faster than ever. You need to be prepared to get the job done and get it done safely. This video will help you be aware of potential hazards and learn best practices for using Ditch Witch equipment. It covers the most typical hazards associated with Ditch Witch equipment. There may be unique hazards specific to your job site. Always complete a job safety analysis to identify any other hazards that may be present on the job site prior to beginning work. It is not a substitute for the equipment's operator's manual. If you need additional training on your equipment, contact your local Ditch Witch dealer. Before you use any Ditch Witch equipment, read and understand the operator's manual, which can be found on your machine or at ditchwitch.com. In addition to this video and the operator's manual, the safety section of the Ditch Witch website features an extensive list of safety guidelines and videos that we recommend you read and review frequently. Protect yourself by wearing the appropriate personal protective equipment for the job site. Depending on the type of equipment and the job site, this can include the following. Safety glasses should be worn at all times on job sites and when working around equipment or during equipment maintenance. Safety toe footwear should be worn at all times on job sites to help protect from falling objects. Protective gloves or clothing should be worn to protect against hazards such as hot components or abrasive materials. Hearing protection should be worn anytime you are working around noisy equipment or job site. High visibility vest is to be worn at all times when working near roadways and on job sites during evening, night, and dawn work, or if the job site requires it. Head protection, such as a hard hat, should be worn anytime there is a risk of an overhead hazard, or if the job site requires it. Other PPE that may be needed, depending on the equipment and job site, is breathing protection. Cutting materials such as concrete, sand, or rock containing quartz may result in exposure to silica dust. Use dust control methods and appropriate breathing protection when exposed to silica dust. Follow all OSHA regulations. Electrical insulating boots are required for the drill operator and tracker when drilling within 10 feet of an underground electric line. The drill operator should have electrical insulating gloves within reach. Electrical insulating boots and gloves are required when exposing an electric line with a vacuum excavator. A face shield should be worn anytime you are using an air lance on a vacuum excavator or operating near flying debris. Follow the PPE manufacturer's recommendations for proper inspection and replace as needed. Do not wear any jewelry or loose or frayed clothing that can catch on controls or rotating parts, and tie back all long hair. A successful job begins before you start working. Make sure everyone is on the same page and working together. Have a method of communication for the entire crew. They always need to know the location of other crew members. If the job occurs on roadways, sidewalks, or neighborhood streets, traffic and pedestrian control may be needed. Follow local traffic control requirements. In the U.S., the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices is the accepted code. Contact local authorities concerning any permits, notifications, or planning that needs to take place prior to working. Know applicable state or city regulations. If working in a residential area, notify homeowners of work that is about to begin. Review the information already available about the job and job site. The more you know about and plan for the job site before you begin, the less likely you'll be to work around any surprises. Review blueprints, right-of-way, and maps of existing underground utilities and planned installation. Check for information about existing or planned structures, elevations, or proposed work that may be taking place at the same time. Inspect the job site for evidence of utilities, slopes, and obstacles you may have while working. Use the correct tools, machinery, safety equipment, and work methods. After you have gathered all the necessary information, plan the proposed excavation. Review the excavation plans and mark the proposed excavation area with white paint or flags, also known as white lining. By doing this, you let the locator know where exactly the excavation will be taking place. Consider any obstacles that may interfere with installation, such as existing utilities, trees, traffic lights, etc. Then, have underground utilities located before digging. In the U.S. or Canada, contact your local one-call. Unless it is an emergency, you must give one-call advance notice to allow time for utilities to be marked. Contact any utilities that do not participate in the one-call service. In countries that do not participate in the one-call service, contact all local utility companies to have underground utilities located. Some utility companies only locate to the meter, so there may be lines that are not marked. Also, utilities on private property or government land, such as schools, military bases, etc., must be privately located. Residential and commercial sewer lines need to be treated like any other utility, especially if drilling. It is imperative you have all underground lines and cables located and marked before operating equipment, and verify those locates. Remember, locates are not exact. Do not rely on the locate markings alone to help minimize the risk of damaging underground utilities. Use a locator, information around you, and hand digging or vacuum excavation to verify depth and that locates are correct. Some contractors will not begin work until they have positive response that a locate has been completed. Also, some utility providers require a photograph of the proposed excavation area before the contractor is authorized to excavate. If locate marks are damaged, the locate must be repeated. Once locates have been completed, verify those locates using soft excavation. Pothole any utility crossings at least to the depth of the proposed trench or bore path. When using vacuum excavation to pothole existing utilities, consider the type or age of the utility being exposed. This will help determine nozzle selection, use of water or air pressure, and water temperature. This will also help with knowing the distance from the utility to use the nozzle and duration of exposure to water or air pressure. Now that you know the potential hazards on the job site, have an emergency response plan in place. Have the local emergency and medical facility phone numbers on hand and have access to a telephone. Having procedures in place before an emergency occurs helps you and others respond quickly and effectively. In the event of a damaged electric line and you are operating a machine, remain on the machine and warn others of an electric strike and instruct them to leave the area. Try to break contact with the electric line by either raising the attachment, reversing drilling direction, or releasing the trigger control on your vacuum excavator's lance. If you are off the machine, do not touch the machine or anything connected to it. Leave the area using small shuffle steps. Contact the electric company as soon as possible and notify them of the strike. Do not resume working, drilling, or allow anyone into the area until the electric company gives permission. In the event of a damaged electric line and you are operating a drill, the alarm will sound and you should assume the equipment is electrified. The operator should push the reset button on the electric strike system and wait 1 full minute. The electric company may use a recloser, which will interrupt the electricity for 1 minute and then reconnect. If the alarm continues, assume the drill is still in contact with the electric line. If a gas line is damaged, immediately shut off the engine and remove any ignition sources if this can be done safely and quickly. Warn others that may be affected of a possible strike and leave the area as quickly as possible. If job site is along a street, stop traffic. Contact the utility company and do not return to the job site until given permission by emergency personnel and the utility company. If a fiber optic cable is damaged, do not look into the cut ends as it could damage your vision. Call the utility company immediately. If the machine catches on fire, shut off the machine and attempt to extinguish if the fire is small and a fire extinguisher is available. If this cannot be done, leave the area and contact emergency personnel. Before every trip, inspect the trailer and tow vehicle. Securely connect safety chains and breakaway devices. Make sure lights are connected and working properly. Check tires for wear and proper inflation. Use the proper hitch type and size, and ensure hitch is mounted so that trailer is level with the ground. A trailer that isn't level will cause the load to shift and will increase wear on axles and distribute weight unevenly. Make sure the tow vehicle is rated for the weight of the equipment and spoils, if any. If the vehicle is not large enough for the load or sloshing liquid, you can lose control of the vehicle. Know the GVWR of the truck and trailer. If transporting material in a tank, know the density of the material being excavated so that you avoid overloading the vehicle. Always load and unload the trailer on level ground. Attach the trailer to the vehicle before loading and unloading. While loading, keep all attachments as low as possible and always load in lowest gear or speed range. 10 to 15% of total trailer weight, equipment plus trailer, must be on the tongue to help prevent trailer sway. Once equipment is loaded, set the parking brake if equipped, lower all attachments, turn off the engine, and remove the key. Even if traveling only a short distance, always use proper restraints and binders to tie equipment down using the tie-down points as indicated on equipment. Know how the machine's controls work and make sure they operate properly. Always wear your seatbelt when operating a ride-on unit. Only operate your machine from the operator station. Refer to the machine's operator's manual and safety video at ditchwitch.com/safe for proper machine operation and maintenance. Ensure traffic and pedestrian control is in place prior to beginning work. While operating equipment, keep all bystanders and coworkers at least 6 feet away from the reach of equipment and attachment. Stop the machine if anyone gets too close. Know and follow any local regulations for road plates or coverings for open excavation. Fence off any open excavation that may need to be left open overnight. If any runoff is expected, protect any sewer drains with absorbent socks. After work is complete, fill any potholes or open trenches. Clean up any debris in roadway or sidewalk. After all work is complete, remove any traffic cones or signs. The most important component for safety on any job site is you, the equipment operator. It is your responsibility to make sure the equipment is ready to operate properly. Contact your local Ditch Witch dealership if you have any question about operation, maintenance, or equipment use. We're here to help you get the job done safely, efficiently, and effectively. We're in this together.